Today we're going to be watching scary videos. It's about 4:12 a.m. In the morning. So it's still pretty dark out. So time to get our spooky on. Anyway, we got Scary Comp of V104. Credit to Bizarre Bub.
On a Thursday afternoon, a mother and daughter hurry over to their apartment as quickly as possible after encountering someone strange.
Okay.
They record the stranger on camera, but according to the mother, this wasn't the only strange thing recorded.
So I'm sitting here looking at this Ring camera footage, and I don't understand how I didn't see this, because this is ridiculous.
At the same time of this incident, this was captured. Watch closely.
I just called the police. Get out front of my door.
He kind of looks like he's on meth. Or something very similar to meth. Maybe fentanyl.
This is the last time I'm gonna tell you. Get out front of my door right now. The police on the way. Go!
You know, he's definitely on something. He has to be.
Now, during this recording, Mom had no idea that this happened. The door to apartment 23 had swung open on its own and stayed open for more than a few seconds before closing. However, this isn't.
There easily could have been a person that opened the door and then just closed it. Like, like, come on.
The reason why Jasmine, the mother, is freaked out by this. Just days after this happened, Jasmine records a video and points out something that makes this whole encounter even creepier.
In the 3 years that I've lived here, I have never seen this door come open. Ever. Like, you can't.
Oh, it was locked. It could have gotten locked by a staff that maybe forgot to lock the door. I don't know. Pretty, I don't know. Interesting circumstances, maybe.
But in the video, you saw the door just came open. Who opened the door? Like,
Your mom did.
look at it. Like, pitch black. Like, make it make sense. Like, how? How? I don't know. It don't make sense.
Eerily, a large pile of children's shoes is found inside, and it's the fact that there are so many of them that freaks out Jasmine. According to her, this may suggest something much more frightening and serious than a paranormal occurrence. However, before calling the police, she notices something in her video that tells her this isn't what she thinks it is, but what she notices doesn't make this any less creepy. In fact, it makes it much more concerning.
So I'm looking back at this video that I took with the property manager guy, right? And I noticed something in that pile of shoes.
Is it a crack pipe?
Those frozen Elsa boots, whatever you want to call it. Those boots are my daughter's.
Oh shit.
Like, I'm gonna show y'all a picture that me and my daughter took, like, I want to say like 2 months ago. Yo, this is crazy because I really thought she just lost them at school. Those shoes belong to my daughter.
Watching this clip, the question is begged, just how exactly did her daughter's shoes end up in this pile? Although Jasmine has no idea, she has a hunch as to what this could all mean. After showing property management the video and learning that no one has occupied the room in years, Jasmine makes a shocking conclusion.
Somebody in this building must be going around here just collecting shoes. And I'm not gonna say collecting, stealing little kids.
He's making a collection. Maybe they'll get raise in price in a couple years. Who knows?
Kids' shoes around here. I've talked to at least 2 or 3 different people in this building who have said that their children been missing shoes. So I'm thinking that somebody has access to that room and they're going around stealing shoes and then taking them and putting them in there.
Don't touch my Lightning McQueen sneakers, bro. I'll fuck you up.
They're just putting shoes in the room. Like it just none of this makes sense to me right now. None of it.
As Jasmine states, someone in this building has access to this room and is placing the shoes they steal inside. Now, even though property management has removed all the shoes and plans to change the door lock, they told Jasmine to be on the lookout. So, she sets up a trap.
Okay, y'all, I'm finna get to the bottom of this. You see these little shoes right here?
Oh, someone took her Ring camera. I wonder if it recorded the last moments before it was taken. Strange.
Put them here as bait, right? On some real cheap shoes, just, little kid shoes or whatever. But what I did was, I got me a plant, right? Little cheap plant too, but look what's inside the plant.
It's a camera.
Hopefully y'all can see it. I hope nobody else see it, but...
According to Jasmine, whoever takes these kids' boots and enters the room must be the culprit, and probably the same person who stole her Ring camera. But after 2 nights of recording this hallway, nothing happens. That is, until the 3rd night, when this is captured. Take a look.
The door opened. Woo. The shoe stealing thief has been caught. The hell is she looking at? She looking at the door that was switched out locks, maybe? I don't know. I don't know why she's staring like that. She's kinda unsettling in a way. Man, what the fuck? Nah, that would freak me the fuck out as well, bro. Just seeing kids' boots is one thing. Seeing them move on its own is another thing. What the hell?
Somehow, one of the boots moves on its own. It appears to bounce off the ground before landing perpendicular to the other boot. Even Jasmine's next door neighbor was freaked out by this, but it's what her neighbor recounts that makes this whole encounter even more terrifying. Apparently, she had come out of her apartment after hearing what sounded like a baby crying outside her door. However, she realized that the cries were coming from inside the room where the shoes were found. Realizing this, she walks back in absolute fear when suddenly this happens. Now, whether or not she actually heard a baby crying is hard to tell. There isn't any audio of a wailing baby in this footage, but even if she actually heard something, it wouldn't explain how the boot moved on its own. This is what spooks Jasmine the most, which is why she's thrown them away since then. Now, to this day, not much else is known about this story, and it doesn't help that no further clips have been posted since these.
You know, you should probably put a camera, like a teeny tiny like camera, like maybe like a pen or something. Drill like a tiny hole in the wall and slip it in there. Make sure that you're able to like see inside the room. You know what I mean? Because other than this, there's like no like real evidence that it could have been. Like, it could have been a string attached to the boot, but I doubt it. It's definitely a ghost.
But as always, until further info becomes available, this incident will continue to remain a mystery. At around 10 p.m., two sisters return home to pick up something that one of them needs.
Hurry up.
According to Pink Nemesis, who sent me this video, her little sister needed to pack some clothes for a sleepover that she was running late to. But just moments before coming inside, they noticed something rather unusual on the sidewalk across from their house. Apparently, they had found a shopping cart filled with creepy-looking dolls. Curious, they check out the cart for a quick minute before immediately rushing to the house to get what they came for.
Take the dolls, put them in your house. You invite over a free, staying, rent unpaying ghost in your house. Seems like a good deal to me.
But during this footage,
You get a new friend to talk to.
which was caught on their doorbell camera, they record something completely unexpected. This is what they caught.
Hurry up. Right back. We just need to go open the doors. Hurry up. Shut up. Hurry up.
Wait, did it move? Did the shopping cart move? Or am I just crazy? Hold on, I'm gonna replay that.
Hurry up.
Oh, you can't tell. I swear I saw just a little tiny frame. But maybe that's just the way that they were walking in front of it while it moved. I don't know. Freaky.
Shut up. Hurry up.
Oh, hell
I
no.
don't go to your house and mess with your shit. So don't mess with mine.
Yes, ma'am. Please exit my home. Why would you keep the fucking door open too? Like, come on now.
As it seems, the shopping cart they were checking out earlier belonged to this lady. For this reason, she walks in and yells at them for touching her stuff, some of which are pretty creepy. But there's something else in this footage that's just as unsettling, and it happens during the time she's inside. On the hallway floor, a black, shadow-like figure darts across. It's hard to make out what this is since it moves quickly, but whatever it might have been, it seems to have no distinct outline. It just seems to be a black mass of something. However, it appears not once, but twice on this property. On the second time it appears, it's seen running across the front yard. Now Pink says that she has seen this figure before outside her home on multiple occasions at night. She initially thought it was just a black cat scurrying away. Given that she often leaves out food for stray cats, she was thinking this was just one of them. But seeing this footage, perhaps something else was captured. Now she has yet to share this footage elsewhere, but until then, she has no explanation for what was caught. As with all videos, I'll let you come up with your own conclusions.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult to know what the hell that is, but yeah, that's pretty freaky. I definitely don't want shadows going across my floor. I mean, I bet they're not even harmful. They're just there to be there, I guess. But yeah.
Just what exactly was caught on camera?
We're gonna be watching True Horror Stories animated by SSG Animations. So credit to them.
My name is Brandon White, and I used to get food from the McDonald's restaurant close to my house every day.
Okay.
A couple of months ago, I walked in to get something and was attended by a new female employee.
Ew, what the hell is that? Who the hell ever looks like that? She has a fucking elephant trunk as a fucking nose, goddamn.
Named Mary. She was middle-aged, had short brown hair, and was
Ma'am, don't look at me like that. Jesus Christ.
slightly overweight. While I waited for my order, she tried to get to know me, making small talk. I didn't mind at the time. She seemed nice, and there was nothing odd about our conversation. After giving me my sandwich, I left, not knowing that visiting McDonald's that day would lead to my biggest mistake ever. The next few days after meeting her weren't that different from the first. But as more days went by, I began to notice something strange about Mary. For starters, Mary was always the one taking my orders. This was unusual for McDonald's. To make things worse, the conversations she tried to have with me only became weirder and left me uncomfortable in most situations. She would say strange things like how I looked so sexy and tasty, and sometimes ask me questions that no employee should have been interested in.
Yeah, no.
Everything about Mary's behavior was odd. She looked almost 10 years older than me and didn't strike me as that sort of person in any way.
She looks like she's actually maybe her 60s, maybe late 50s, with her skin as gray as how you come out of a grave almost. I don't know. That's freaky. It's crazy how her clothes are so clean still. Still, somehow, but yeah.
Eventually, I began visiting another McDonald's far away from my house, deciding against reporting Mary and getting her fired. A couple of weeks went by, and one day, I walked into the new McDonald's and saw Mary working at the counter. I was shocked and expected her to tell me if she was filling in for someone, but instead, Mary acted as if she'd never left the old McDonald's and didn't address the situation at all. She resumed her usual attempts at small talk and disturbing remarks, but I simply ignored everything she said, got my order, and left. I decided.
Does she like work at every single McDonald's? Because I swear there's at least one lady that would probably make her description kind of the same as everything else. I don't know, it's freaky.
Decided not to go to McDonald's for a while, and only had it when a few friends placed orders at their apartments. I didn't know if Mary still worked there, but I wasn't eager to find out. One afternoon, while walking home after getting groceries, someone suddenly bumped into me out of nowhere, and most of my groceries failed. I bent over to pick them up, and the woman who had bumped into me began apologizing as she joined me to pick up the groceries. When I looked up to thank her, I was shocked to see Mary standing in front of me. I remained in silence as my mind raced. Was this woman stalking me, or was this just a coincidence? After standing there in silence, Mary finally said, "Well, young man, I'm in a hurry, so sorry about that," and left, acting like she didn't know who I was. I brushed it off again as a coincidence and walked home. As I got home, I realized my house keys weren't on me, but I was in a hurry and figured I had probably left without them.
She definitely has them. She definitely did some voodoo shit to get them out of your pocket.
So I quickly got my spare key from under the mat, dropped my groceries inside, and left to meet up with my colleagues. My coworkers and I spent a couple of hours getting drunk and playing games on our day off. I left and headed home. But as I opened my door, something about it felt different. That feeling you get when someone else has been in your home was everywhere. But I was wasted, and all I wanted to do was take a shower. So I quickly looked around and headed to the bathroom. Later that night, I was alone in my living room watching HBO when my phone rang. I was curious about who could be calling me so late at night, so I answered with a simple, "Hello?" There wasn't a voice on the other end, but I could hear someone breathing heavily for about a minute before finally hearing a whispery voice say, "Come upstairs." I ended the call immediately, assuming it was some kids playing a prank.
You know, I got a call sort of like that before from this random ass fucking number. And yeah, that freaked me the fuck out because holy shit. So what happened was I got a call. There was nobody else on the other line, so I just hung up. Cause why would I keep you on the call if you're not gonna fucking talk? So I placed my phone back down and I wait a second and it rings again. It's the same fucking number. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, hello? Who's this? Then it's like just a whispering fucking person. I'm like, what? Hell no. So I just, hell no. Hang up, block the number, never heard it again. Nothing else really happened after that, but yeah. Just wanted to put that little snippet in there, so yeah.
But something about it felt off, and despite my efforts, I couldn't stop thinking about it and how I felt someone was in my home earlier that day. About 3 minutes later, my phone rang again, and it was the same number. I simply ignored it and tried to focus on something else. That's when I heard a noise coming from upstairs. I quickly switched off the TV and decided to listen more closely to make sure I wasn't hearing things. Sure enough, I heard a loud noise from upstairs, followed by another, and soon enough, I could tell they were footsteps, and someone was actually in my home. I quickly grabbed my phone and called the police before heading to the kitchen and grabbing a knife. The house was silent for the next few minutes, so I began to walk up the stairs slowly to make sure there was actually an intruder.
Nah, you don't go upstairs, because that's just signing your death letter. You get the hell out of the house, you go across the street, and you sit there and watch the house until the police arrive. That's just the only logical thing to do. You don't go upstairs and get a shotgun pointed at your face and then get your head blown off. But yeah.
As I checked each room one after the other, I began to calm down and question if I heard anything at all. Eventually, there was only one room left to check, and as I opened the door to the guest room, I was filled with a feeling of relief as all I could see was an empty room. And the sense of relief I had just gotten was quickly overcome with fear. As out of the corner of my eye, I could see a figure standing behind the door. Before I could say anything, the person jumped on me, knocking the knife out of my hand and settling on top of me, pinning both my arms under her.
Hell no.
In that moment, all I could feel was terror as Mary looked me dead in the eyes before proceeding to grab the knife I had dropped. Mary slowly brought her head closer to me and began to sniff me, like she was taking in deep breaths.
Ugh.
My skin began to crawl, and I began to struggle to get free. But there was no use, as Mary was a lot heavier than I was. She eventually stopped sniffing me and proceeded to say, "Oh, I missed you so much, baby. But you've been avoiding me lately. You looked so tasty today. I had to see you. And well, now I have to take a little bite." She smiled and continued, "Now, it'll hurt a little, but I'm sure you don't mind, darling."
Oh, hell no.
Mary quickly brought down the knife on my hand, taking my pinky finger clean off. The pain shot through my body, and I couldn't help but let out a piercing scream.
Ow, for one. And for two, that's not accurate because you cut all of his fucking fingers off, except for maybe his thumb.
Blood began to spill everywhere, and Mary couldn't hold back her laugh as she threw my finger in her mouth and chewed it down until nothing remained. At that point, I had begun to close my eyes as I slowly lost consciousness from the pain. That's when Mary said, "No, baby, don't do that. I was just about to have one of your tastier parts." She then proceeded to hold my eyelids open as she lowered the knife slowly towards my eye. Before I could begin to plead with her, police sirens filled the air, and I was immediately filled with relief. Mary quickly got off me and pointed the knife at me, saying, "No. How did they find out, baby? You didn't call them, did you?" One look at the woman in front of me, and I could tell she was absolutely crazy. She began pacing the room and was visibly worried, so I decided it was better to play into her game than act out, as I already knew how far she was willing to go.
Ugh.
"I'm so sorry. I didn't know it was you waiting for me, so I called them. Just let me go down there and send them away, and I'll be right back." Mary looked at me with what seemed to be relief, and I could tell she truly believed what I had just said.
You gotta be an idiot to fucking believe that.
She replied, "All right, honey, be quick now," and lowered the knife, letting me leave. I bolted downstairs with one thing in mind: get as far away from Mary as I could. As I stepped out of the house, I was met by a group of officers. They asked if anyone else was in the house before storming in and exiting with Mary in the next few minutes. Mary was taken away in tears as she screamed at me for betraying her and not keeping my word. confirming to the police that she was completely crazy.
And you're not gonna maybe get a fucking medic to check your fucking hand out? You're missing like 4 fucking fingers, bro.
In the last few days, I've been informed by the authorities that Mary is wanted in several states for multiple counts of rape, assault, and suspicion of cannibalism. I was lucky enough to be the only one of her victims to survive her ordeal. That encounter still keeps me up at night, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about the first time I met Mary in McDonald's. I hope my story has helped you all realize that we really know nothing about the people who serve us and our families at McDonald's. In my case, I met a crazy serial killer who posed as a happy-go-lucky woman, but in your case, it just might be the devil who hands you your Happy Meal with a smile on their face. Christmas is usually one of the best holidays of the year. The kids are always happy. There's food, parties, and presents. It's really that time of year when we can leave all our problems behind and concentrate on being happy, even if it's just for a day or two. The story I'm about to tell you was just before Christmas, in those days when we were getting ready for the holidays and it was all happy times. What neither I nor my children expected was that those moments of happiness would be interrupted because we had an appointment with the unknown. Something we didn't understand at the time and still don't today was stalking us.
Okay.
And you know what? It still is. If you don't know what you're up against, how can you defeat it? It all started on a snowy day. During those days, we decided to take a mini vacation and went to my parents' country house. My wife was hesitant to go since we had a lot of work to do when we got back. But the kids were on vacation from school and insisted all year to go. So we indulged them. It was only a few days before Christmas. We had already put up the Christmas tree and decorated our house in town. But the cabin still lacked some Christmas spirit. We brought some decorations to beautify the cabin a bit, but to my surprise, my parents had left us something. A human-sized Santa Claus. It looked like an animatronic, but it was very strange. It was too thin.
Ah, hell nah. Hell nah. Nah. This is why you need to keep a gun everywhere you go. This is why you gotta keep that 9 close, packed with hollow points.
Normally, Santa Clauses are similar to the real Santa, fat with a huge smile. But there was something weird about this one. His look was touching. He looked like some Santa Claus out of some child's nightmares. I was about to put it away,
hell no.
but my kids saw it at the same time I did, and for some reason, they liked it. Kids really do have the weirdest tastes. Other than that, the day continued as normal. We spent the evening watching movies and eating something as a family. The kids seemed very entertained, and my wife and I were very happy about it. Nothing prepared us for what would happen the next day. After spending the night sleeping comfortably, a scream woke my wife and me at the same time. It was the scream of one of our children.
Oh, hell no.
As soon as we woke up, we both looked out the window where the scream was coming from. My 2 children were outside, running through the snow, running away from someone. When I looked back a little further, I clearly saw their attacker. No, it couldn't be true. It was the Santa Claus animatronics I had put up yesterday.
Ah, hell nah. Nah, that shit comes to life. Oh, hell nah. Yeah, fuck that.
This didn't make any sense. As I watched him run in the direction of my children, I could see him walk very naturally. This was not an animatronic or anything like that. It moved like a human, but it was so thin, who could fit into that costume? I told my wife to call the police as soon as possible while I went to get our children and protect them from their attacker. At that point, I didn't care about bundling up or getting a gun. I had to go as soon as possible. As soon as I got out, I did not go in the direction of my children, but towards my attacker, who for some reason was not running, but only walking in the direction of my children. I don't know what this being was or why it was attacking my children, but I knew I had to do something to stop it. With all my strength, I threw myself at him. I still thought that all this must have some explanation. Maybe it was a person disguised as a Santa. Yes, that must be it. That was the only logical explanation. A little confident from the lie I fed myself, I tried to take him down, but that's when despair and desolation took over my whole body. When I was just a few inches away from him, about to knock him down, I was overcome with a horrible feeling of fear and sadness that prevented me from moving forward. Defeated and crying, I fell to the ground, clutching
Pussy.
my chest from the pain I felt. This was not the pain of a physical attack. It was not the pain of an illness. It was the pain one feels when one is very nervous or sad. Santa simply ignored me and kept walking in the direction of my children. Whatever it was, he was aware of what was happening to me. Possibly in some way, he caused it, since he didn't flinch an inch from my attack, knowing what was going to happen. After a few seconds that felt like hours, I gathered all my strength to get up and follow him. The pain and sadness I felt at that moment was so great that even though it faded as soon as Santa left, it still haunted me. For me, I would have stayed on the ground surrounded by ice crying, but I couldn't afford the luxury. That being was after my children, and I wouldn't let them feel for a second what I felt at that moment, or worse. I got up and ran as fast as I could through the ice. My children and Santa were already far away in the forest, but the sound of their screams guided me on the right path. With every centimeter I ran, I could feel that horrible feeling taking over my body again. The pain in my chest was getting bigger and bigger. I couldn't be far away. The screams became closer than ever until, crying against a tree, I found my two children. In front of them, the strange figure walked slowly in their direction. As soon as I saw this image, I turned to Santa Claus. You would think that nothing had changed from the last time I did it and ended up on the ice crying, but for me, everything had changed. This time, I was watching as the strange being was about to attack my children, and at that moment, I didn't care about anything but protecting them. I ignored the pain, the fear, the sadness, the cold. All I could see was this thing approaching my children. With a war cry, I lunged at it and knocked it to the ice. Blinded by rage, I didn't realize what was really going on. I was just hitting an empty Santa Claus doll. All the feeling of fear and desperation had vanished the moment I made contact with them. Now I was doing nothing more than hitting an inanimate object while my children cried beside me. When I realized this, I stepped aside and went to hug my children while Santa stood destroyed next to us. It was all over. Once we got back, I threw all the parts of that Santa Claus in the trash and put a new one once we got home. I'll be honest with you, the new Santa Claus didn't last more than 2 days. Maybe I was still a little paranoid, but I could swear that every once in a while, it felt like it wasn't in the same position I left it in. As if his head or limbs were moving when no one was watching. Also, I couldn't shake this feeling. This feeling of paranoia that when I was near him, I was constantly being watched. For their part, my children didn't talk about it, but I could see in their eyes that they were terrified. At first, my wife thought everything I told her was a joke. But over time, she began to believe us. Although part of her thinks it's a strange collective paranoia. I can't blame her, and I can't blame you if you don't believe me. Not even in my wildest nightmares could I think something like this could happen. But I guess, as a human, there are things we can never understand. And you know what? It's okay. I don't want to understand what happened that day. I just don't want it to happen again. I just want my family to be safe.
That's a good plan. Anyway, if you guys like this video, go ahead and drop a like, subscribe. Credit to SSG Animations and Bizarre Bub for using parts of their videos. And hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and peace out.